zoom it to the size you want.
What is this one? How to take this one out?
No, that's the live, what's actually live. We'll always show you that. But if you can pinch in so that it's smaller, on that one in the corner, yeah, no, that's right. And then make it just a little bigger so it's just a little wider than the desk. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's perfect. Fine. A little more. Okay. Is there a choice in the bottom corner? It's live, right? Okay.
It says live in. What is live in?
Oh, I don't think it's live yet. Yeah. Oh, wait. I'm going to look on the web interface and see. Choice in the bottom corner. Oh, I'm hearing my voice on the live stream. Oh, I don't think it's live yet. Yeah. Oh, wait. I'm going to look on the web interface and see.
Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Punaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Bhadram Karne Vishnuyaama Devaः Bhadram Pashyemakshaviryajatraः Sthirairangai Sushtuva Gumsastanubhiः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्तिः 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 श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. So, we saw yesterday that Muṇḍaka Upanishad belongs to Atharva Veda. And the Upanishad begins, this Muṇḍaka Upanishad begins with describing the Sampradaya. Sampradaya means the whole line of the teachers and the students. There is a reason why, am I audible everywhere? Yes. There is a reason why Upanishad does this. It is to glorify knowledge as well as to show the authenticity of knowledge, of Brahma Vidya. Because there is always a question that we gained this knowledge from our teachers. Our teachers also had their teachers. So the question will remain as to who is the first teacher. Students, or today people will always ask that who is the first teacher? How did he get the knowledge? Just as our parents, their parents, every parent is a child. So the question is, who is the first parent? If you keep on asking in this way, it will lead to infinite regression. You cannot ever come to the first parent, because again the question will remain as to how did they come about. Similarly, the question is, who is the first teacher and how did he get the knowledge? So, to answer this and to show that the knowledge that we have is pramanam. Pramanam means it is a valid source of knowledge, particularly the knowledge of Brahman. And that can be gained only from Shastra. How did Shastra come about? To show this, the whole Sampradaya is mentioned in the first 2 verses of Muṇḍaka Upanishad. So it begins with the description of Sampradaya. Here it says that the first teacher was Brahmaji himself. In Atharva Veda, see, in our culture, in our Shastras, somewhere they show that Narayan is the first teacher. Elsewhere they show that Shiva, that is Dakshinamurtiji, who is another form of Lord Shiva, he is the teacher. Here in Atharva Veda, Brahmaji himself, Brahmaji is the first teacher. And in the first verse, in the very first mantra of this Upanishad, it is shown that Brahmaji manifested himself very well. Sambhavuva, which means he created himself. Rather than saying that he created himself, it would be more proper to say that he manifested. Sambhavuva, Samyak Bhavuva, which means he is the causeless cause. There is no one above Brahmaji. This is how it is shown that Bhagavan himself is the first one. And he has not come from any other parent. He manifests himself. And along with Bhagavan, along with Brahmaji here, elsewhere it may be some Narayana or Shiva or other devatas. But here it is shown that Brahmaji is the first born and Vishwasya Karta, Bhuvanasya Gopta. He has created this creation, plus he protects it also. And then it is said that it is he who imparted this Brahma Vidya to his son called Atharva. So Brahma Vidya, which is the basis for all other knowledges, it is the most exalted, plus it is the foundation. It is that because of which other knowledges are possible. So this Brahma Vidya, Brahmaji already had it. Here the question is not how he had it, because Vidya is immortal. Vidya is not created, just as Bhagavan is not created. He already is. Similarly, knowledge already is. In Brihadaranyaka also, you find a very, very important verse, mantra, the section which says that Asya Mahato Bhutasya Nishvasitam Yadeta Drugvedaha Yajurvedaha Samavedaha Atharva Vedaha, which means what? That this Vidya, all the Vedas, knowledge is contained in the Vedas, and this Vedas were not created. There is no Kartrutva. Nobody has created. Understand this very well. Otherwise, the question will remain, who created that and who created the previous one? This will go on. So the buck stops here. Where? To Bhagavan. He, Nishvasitam, the knowledge or the Vedas came forth from Bhagavan as his out-breath. Nishvasa. Nishvasa means out-breath. For bringing out the air, that is exhalation, no effort is required. It happens effortlessly or spontaneously. Just the way my out-breath is effortless, I don't make an effort to bring it out. Similarly, the Vedas. That is the knowledge, came forth from Ishvara. In the same manner, here it is said that Brahmaji is the first one. He already had this knowledge in him, and he gave this knowledge to his son Atharva. In those days, the teacher used to be the father also and the son also. This is called Bindu Parampara. See, there are two Paramparas, Bindu Parampara and Nada Parampara. Bindu Parampara means that the father, the Rishi or Ishvara himself is the father, and he gives his knowledge to his son. Then the son will give to his son. So in those days, the teachers used to be father plus the teacher, and son used to be son as well as disciple. So Brahmaji very well gave this knowledge to his son, Atharva. Then the Upanishad goes on to describe then that Atharva passed it, from whom we get this name Atharva Veda. Atharva Veda. So it is from the name of Brahmaji's son. So because he is first in the line. Then Atharva passed it Atharvaneyam Pravadeta Brahma. Then we see the line of succession of from the teacher to the student. The knowledge is transferred from teacher to student, from one hand to another. So from Brahmaji to Atharva, from Atharva to Angir is the name of one of the rishis. From him to Satyavaha, from Satyavaha to Angiras. Angiras is the teacher in Muṇḍaka Upanishad. So Brahmaji to Atharva, Atharva to Angira to Satyavaha, and from Satyavaha to Angiras. This is how the knowledge has come. Now, there may be a question that when the knowledge is transferred in this way, means when the student gets it from his father or the teacher, it is here said that in this way, Paravaram, from teacher to student, in this way from Para to Avara. Para means superior and Avara means inferior or lower. In this way, Paravaram, which means from superior to inferior, the knowledge came. Now here, what does this words para, superior, and avara, inferior mean? Does it mean that the first teacher is the most exalted and that the later one is not so much? No, that is not the meaning. What it means is, otherwise what will happen? It all began with the Bhagavan and then came to next teacher. Little entropy is there in the knowledge. Then it comes to third teacher, little less. So avara, lower, from superior to lower doesn't mean that knowledge suffers or that there is some attrition or entropy in the knowledge. No. Lower and superior means in time, in order. First came Bhagavan, then Atharva, and then whoever comes later is lower, not in the sense of quality, not in the sense of quality, but in sense of time. Because the teacher, the student also is equally the same when he becomes the teacher. Because the knowledge remains the same. That is why the Sampradaya is very important. Later on, Bhashyakara gives very, very great importance to Sampradaya. Later on in the same Upanishad, in the 12th mantra, when he will talk about Pariksha Lokana, so how you examine the worlds, and then you get you develop this passion, and then you go to the teacher and all that. While writing that part, Bhashyakara writes that even if you very well know the grammar and other things, other tarka, grammar and reasoning, etc., but never should you dabble, never should you delve in this study without a teacher. Swatantrena brahmanveshanam na kuryat. He says, why? Because it has to be got from the teacher. The knowledge being such, the teacher, the methodology of the teaching is also very, very important. And that is why one must learn this at the feet of the teacher. It is a because Brahman is not seen. Brahman is not something which you can describe. And that is why the teaching method also becomes very important. Say for instance, when I describe this flower, flower is right before you. You can have the form of the flower in your mind. When I describe Brahman to you, first of all, there is nothing to describe. It has no shape, no form, no qualities. How will you describe it? So that kind of description is not possible. Plus, it is your very self. So the way to teach is to remove all the notions. The way to teach, the method of teaching is neti. Neti means you remove one by one all the notions. And then what remains? Something remains. Everything is not erased. Everything cannot be removed. The core, the consciousness very much remains. And that is targeted. That is not shown by the words, but it is targeted by the words. So this is the whole methodology of teaching. And that is why it is not to be read like a novel. It is to be learned at the feet of the teacher. And that is why this whole sampradaya is given importance. That is the whole reason why Upanishad describes this sampradaya. And so para and avara, from superior to inferior, not in quality, but in time. Because just as you lit one lamp from the other lamp. One lamp is there and you take this to this one and lit it. In that, the light remains the same. Light is not in any way affected. Similarly, the knowledge remains. Knowledge remains what it is. Yes, there may be different way of explaining. Some examples may be different. The style may differ. But otherwise, the content remains the same. So this is how the knowledge has come. Now, from Angiras, he is the teacher. Shaunaka, Shaunaka here the student in this Upanishad is Shaunaka and the teacher is Angiras. This Upanishad is a dialogue between Angiras and Shaunaka. So now Shaunaka approaches this Angiras, the teacher here. Because our verse is the fourth one. Before this, all this is happening. So we should know the context. Now Shaunaka the Upanishad tells about him that he was a Shaunako Havai Mahashalaha. He is a very famous person. He must be a very famous householder. He must be rich also, and he must have performed many yajnas. Because to perform all those yajnas, you require wealth. Material wealth is also required. But Shaunaka was famous for that. And he must have lived very well, righteously. So such as Shaunaka, Vidivat Upasanna, Vidivat means in a stipulated manner. Vidivat Upasanna, he approaches the teacher Angiras, because Angiras is also famous, and approaches how? He just doesn't go and say, please give me the knowledge. No, in a stipulated manner, which shows humility. He may have gone with the dry twigs in his hands, offering it to the teacher. Because it is said, that you never approach a teacher or Bhagavan with bare hands. You take something when you are going to the king or a great person or to the teacher or going to the temple before Bhagavan. Never go with bare hands. Rikta pani. Don't go. You take something. Taking something shows what? Taking something is the form. But along with that form hopefully goes the spirit. What? The spirit of humility. The spirit of humbleness. That I want to learn something from you. So spirit, the form is also very important. Sometimes, people argue. What is the use of the form? My spirit is there. My feelings are there. I need not present it in such a way. No. Form is also important. If you uphold the form, it is quite likely that the spirit will soon accompany. When you fold hands, perhaps in the beginning, you have just brought the two palms together. There is no feeling inside. When I say Namaste, I just say it out of habit. But it is quite possible that sooner, when I fold hands, along with that some feelings will also come. That is why this form is also important. So the Upanishad makes it a point to say that Shaunaka approached his teacher in the Vidivat. In Bhagavad Gita also we find, Lord Krishna says, what does he say? When you go to the teacher, Tadvitti pranipatena Paraprajnananda sevaya. Go and do namaskar. Do some seva and then ask. So, namaskar plus seva, creates the bond. Creates the bond and then ask. Just don't go and just ask, but create a background. So, that is what is shown. That Shaunaka approached in a stipulated way. And then, now he asks a question. His question shows what he is. Our words, our questions, our behavior, all this reflects what we are. Now, Shaunaka is described as Mahashala, a great householder. Now, he must have, this Grihasthashram is very important. In Grihasthashram, the way you live, the way you conduct yourself is very important. Why? Because it is creating a background. So Shaunaka, and that is why it is mentioned that he was Mahashalaha. He must have performed many yajnas. And all this he must have done in the spirit of dharma. So, Upanishad here is indicating, is trying to convey that the life you live, Grihasthashram, in the Grihasthashram, when you live when you live in the right way. Grihasthashram is to be lived not just for one's own pleasures. No, you have to live in alignment with the cosmos. You have to live such that you maintain the harmony of the creation. And when you live in that way, which means crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's, which there is a saying in English, not easy. You live a life of dharma. It is not a self-centered life. Grihasthashrama, ideally speaking, is not a self-centered life. It is a life where you are aware of the entire cosmos. You are responsible towards the entire cosmos, towards the society. And this is going to bring wonders. When you live life in this way, when dharma is there, where only I is not important, but a life of giving and sharing, I have taken from the world, and now it is my responsibility to give back. This is what even Lord Krishna underlines and makes an emphasis. He makes it a point to underline Karma Yoga. Why? Arjuna wanted sannyasa right away. He just wanted to withdraw from the battle, from his duty of fighting which was his duty to save dharma. But Arjuna wanted to withdraw because it involved pain, because it involved fighting with his own people. So, Lord Krishna wanted that you understand your position in life. You are placed where you are placed is with a reason. What comes before you is with a reason. Respond well. Respond well. Respond in the becoming manner. Every situation demands a becoming response from us. When I am a brahmachari, I respond accordingly. When I am a grihast, when I am a householder, there are certain duties. And when you play them well, when you live that life well, then what happens? Then automatically, jnana, you become mature. Your heart becomes pure. That is why in Brihadaranyaka it is said, Tametam vedanu vachanena brahmanaha vividishanti yagnena danena tapasa anashakena. When person lives a life of yajna, dana, tapaha, which means what? In alignment with dharma. In dharma means I have to sacrifice myself. My likes, my dislikes, my personal priorities are not that important. I'm responsible towards the creation also. My beginning with my family, my society, my country, and you expand, encompass the entire creation. This is not without reason. Scriptures know what they are saying. This creates what? Purity. This makes your heart pure. When there is place for others, understand that is a mature heart. That's a mature and evolved person. The life of Grihastha, when lived in this manner, makes a person mature. And once that happens, when the heart is pure, what happens? Jnana, curiosity. For what? Curiosity for reality. What is the truth? Who am I? What is the fundamental reality of the creation? These questions arise in your heart. Now there is place for it. Otherwise, the heart is full with what? Ego. I am mine. Nothing else. No. Life has to, when the heart becomes pure. Now there are questions. Now there is jnana, not for bubuksha. Bubuksha means I want to enjoy. I want to indulge in sense pleasures. And there is no end to this artha and kama. as we are listening in Upaniṣad. There is no end to this. The more you have it, the more you want it. But when life is lived as Shaunaka lived, then questions arose in his mind. All the yajna and all the dharma that he must have done paid off. Everything is now bringing the result. Result in what terms? Now there is the question that he asked as he approached the teacher is just, you can't imagine. He says what? Kasminnu bhagavo vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavati. See his question. His question is out of this world. He says, oh sir, please tell me, is there something knowing which everything becomes known? Is there something knowing which everything at a time becomes known? Now this is not an ordinary question at all, which means that he's thinking. His mind is engaged in this kind of things. That what is the reality? There must be one substratum. There must be one platform. There must be that one thing covering the entire creation. Knowing that one thing, everything is essentially known. This is his thinking. He's asking. He's not sure. He's asking that is there some such thing? Knowing which kasminnu, that no is in the sense of vitarka. Is there such a thing? And if it is there, what is it? Tell me. Either he must have heard about this from satsanga, because in our society, sadhus, mahatmas are there. Maybe you have done some satsanga with them. Maybe you have read it from somewhere. Or it is his own thinking. He possesses that subtlety of the mind, that subtlety of the intellect. As I said, that when you live this life of dharma, dharma is that is why important. Devotion is that is why important. All this purifies the heart, the antakarana. When it becomes pure, only then and then this question arises. Otherwise, life will be mundane. What about tomorrow? Where will I go tomorrow? What next? This thing. But here, the fundamental question. What is it knowing which everything will become known? So, it seems that he is aware that by knowing the cause, you know the effect. Because effect, the pot is an effect of clay. By knowing the clay, you know the pot. Not only one pot, a given pot, but the whole world of pots. The whole world of objects made of clay are known when you come to know the clay. Or in other words, when you know the gold, you know all the ornaments. You may not know the details of the ornament or the designs or where they are made, no. But you come to know what? That they are nothing but gold. All because ornament is never away from the gold. So this he must have, in his own way, he must have paid attention to things around him. There must be some common denominator. Things are all different and variegated. But there must be a unifying line. There must be a common denominator in everything. There has to be that thing. The entire creation is so orderly. It is so intelligently made that there has to be an intelligent cause behind this. There has to be intelligence behind it. It cannot be all inert. It cannot be haphazard. It cannot be without rhyme or reason. The cause must have all this. This was his thinking. And he asked this to Angiras. He comes with this question. Angiras also was surprised. Oh my God, this student comes with this Otherwise, it is quite likely that people come and ask, look at my chart, sir. When will I get married? When will my business do well? Anything they can ask, because that what you are is your thoughts. So this is what Shaunaka came up with. There is a similar question in Chandogya Upanishad. Of course, in the 6th chapter, we come across the same thing. But here, the question is provoked there. In Chandogya Upanishad, question is provoked by the teacher. There it is dialogue, 6th chapter of Chandogya Upanishad, is dialogue between Shvetaketu the son and his father Uddalaka. Uddalaka himself is a sage, himself is the teacher, but he sent his son to other Gurukula. And after 12 years, after studying 24, he comes back. And then he has an attitude in his demeanor. So the father, to prick this balloon of pride in him, is calling him, "Oh my son, please come and tell me, have you learned your behavior, your demeanor, your attitude seems to say that you know everything. Do you know that yena ashrutam shrutam bhavati, yena amatam matam bhavati?" He said, father is asking the son, have you by any chance did you get a chance to know that one thing, hearing about which everything becomes heard of? There the father says, knowing which everything becomes known, seeing which everything becomes seen. Do you by yena ashrutam amatam matam bhavati, ashrutam shrutam bhavati? Do you know that? The child was flabbergasted. Shvetaketu was surprised. He says, is there such a thing? Is there such a thing? Moment this was mentioned, by father, all his pride became flat. It became flat. And he said, sir, my teacher did not know this. You please tell me. Because he was scared that I don't know this. And maybe my father will again send me to Gurukulam and I don't want to go there. So he straight away blamed his teacher. He said, my teacher perhaps did not know this. Father did not like it, but what to do with this fellow? So he said, okay, sit down, I will teach you. And what I'm trying to say there also, then he went on to show how there is that one thing. There it is described as Sat. It is Sat or existence, knowing which you come to know everything. Because everything is. When you know that isness is here and the same isness is everywhere, you know everything. In short, it was taught over there the same thing. I'm just pointing out that this is how the Upanishads talk about the same thing. So here, Shaunaka has asked this. What is it? Knowing which everything becomes known. Very mature person, highly evolved. And once again, I will underline that this maturity comes not without reason. You have to earn it. You have to earn it in life. If somebody has it, like Nachiketa already exhibited that. He is just a child of 8 years. And he says, what is that? Astityeke, Nayam Astityeke, Nanyam Astiti Cheke. Please tell me about this. He also comes with a similar question. How did he get it? He has not entered Grihasthashram. He has not done anything, but he has earned it in the past life. Somewhere, in some past lives, he must have earned it. So what I am trying to say is that there is no option. There is no option to a life of dharma. There is no option to live well. You cannot get away. You may think that you are getting away, but then you will not have this maturity, this inquisitiveness, this jignasa, which if it arises, then you will definitely be knowing that moksha is there for you. Otherwise, it is not there. So Shaunaka had it. And now the reply. The reply which the teacher gives is Muṇḍaka. The reply to this question, Tasminnu bhagavo vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavati. What is it? Knowing which everything becomes known, as good as known. Please tell me that. And the reply to this question, the Angiras, the reply which he gave is our Muṇḍaka. The entire Upanishad is replying to this one question. And so, now the teacher replies. So we will read the verse which we have taken. Please, you repeat after me. Tasmai sahovacha dve vidye veditavye itihasmayat brahmavido vadanti parachaiva paracha. So to this question, to this student, Tasmai sahovacha, to him, to this student who has come up with brilliant question. Saha, the teacher replies. Remember, the teacher may not reply. If he thinks that he is wasting my time, asking for the sake of asking, he may not reply. But the teacher here did not ignore. Teacher did not ignore this student. When the right student comes, these teachers, are such, these Mahatmas are, you cannot in any way govern them. You cannot put this should be done. No such thing. But when the right student comes, when there is eligibility, with the right qualities, because the teacher also wants that what I am going to say, is he ready to imbibe? Is he ready to catch that? Is that eligibility there or not? Otherwise, I'll be wasting my time. But when the teacher saw that yes, here is the right student, he has worked with his life, all the qualities are there. So when he replied, that when the teacher began to reply, understand that Shamati, all the Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti, all the Shamati Shatka Sampatti is there in the student. It is understood. Just as when Nachiketa also asks, Yamaraja knows that he is a ready student and he praises him. But still to test him, takes his exam and offers so many other things. But here also, the teacher did not ignore and said what? Now, the reply of the teacher is quite, he replies in his own way. Even though now see, teacher says, Tasmai sahovacha, to this Shaunaka, Angiras replied, what? Dve vidye veditavye. He says, there are two kinds of knowledge which one must gain. Dve means two, vidye, two knowledge. Veditavya should be gained. Veditavya. Tavya means it should be known. There is adesha in the injunction. This two kinds of knowledge should be gained. How do you say that? Itihasma, which means this is what? This is indeed, this should be known. This ha and sma stands, they are avyaya, which refer to what? Indeed. Indeed, this must be, these two kinds of knowledge should be gained. How do you say that? So the teacher is also very humble. He says, Itihasma yad Brahma vido vadanti. The knowers of Brahma. Here Brahma means knowers of Vedas. The knowers of Vedas have reported this to us. The knowers of Veda, they say that these are the two kinds of knowledge that one should gain. And which are they? Parachaiva, aparacha. One kind of knowledge is what? Para, superior, and the other one is what? Inferior to that, apara. So the higher and the lower, both this knowledge should be acquired. Now, does it not sound that this is not what Shaunaka had asked? Shaunaka had asked what? He had asked for the Paravidya. What did he ask for? What is it? Knowing which everything will be known. He wanted to know about that. Which means his question pertained to what? The fundamental reality. Which means his question was about Paravidya, the superior knowledge. And the teacher here replies in his own way. What does he say? You have to know two kinds of knowledge. That is not what I am asking. Tell me, knowing which I will know everything. But no, there is a method in replying. That these teachers take into account everything. The reply or the teaching should be done in method. There should be a method. Systematically, it should be imparted. Even though the student has not asked for the other knowledge, apara vidya. Apara means lower vidya, which we will see it is the knowledge of the world. He has not asked for it. He wants to know the superior one only. But still, teacher makes it a point to say that you must know both. You must know both. Why? There is a reason. Because there is an order in which you have to reply. Straight away you cannot talk about Paravidya. You talk about Paravidya. And the student doesn't know much about the world. And if he is out of jignasa, he is asking, but maybe still he has not outgrown samsara. Maybe he has still not developed vairagya for samsara, for what he sees. And what we see is nothing but the world around us. And if he's just cursorily asking, tell me about Paravidya, then it won't work. Why? Because first you have to settle account with the world. First look at the world properly. Look at what is there before you properly. And this world is not an ordinary thing. It is mind-boggling. It involves so much. And if you have not examined it properly, in and out, thoroughly, then you will not outgrow. Then still some attachment will remain. And with that, you will not be able to cultivate or able to understand the Paravidya. Understand means you will not be able to give yourself thoroughly to the Paravidya. So it becomes necessary that you come to know the Aparavidya also well. Aparavidya, the subject matter of the apara, that is lower knowledge, is nothing but this world. And this world is nothing but the product of avidya, ignorance. It is the product of ignorance. Now, it appears to be very real. Everything in this world appears to be real, very attractive. And everything has a name, form and function. Now, if I do not know it well enough, if I do not know the reality of the world, that even though it appears concrete, even though it appears real, each and everything is so beautiful. It has a name, it has form, it has fragrance, so many things. But if I do not know that this is just a name, if I do not know that this is apparent, this is not real but apparent, then this will continue to hold interest for me. My heart will want this. So unless and until I come to know that what I am seeking is not to be found in the world, what I am seeking what I really want? And one has to look into that. One has to examine one's own desires, one's own attachments. Why am I attached? What is it that I want from this? See, I'll show you. See, there is this beautiful grapes before me. Looks very real. Looking at this, there may be water in the mouth. If I am thirsty, I will want to have this. But will I get any juice out of this? If the child doesn't know that this is made of plastic, this looks like grapes, real one, but it is not. It seems to contain the juice, but for that I have to see it closely. If necessary, touch it. If necessary, taste it. Then and then will I know what this is. Then and then will I come to know the reality of this object. That this is nothing but having the appearance of grapes, but has no juice in it. It is not a real one. For that, what is needed? Not just saying that I don't want it. You have to know it thoroughly. You have to know it very well. Examine it in, out, from north, south, east, west, up, down, everywhere. Find out its reality. Just don't give it up like that. Otherwise, after having given up, what will happen? If the thorough examination is not there, it is quite likely that I want to go back again. And I may have the regrets that I did not experience that, I did not experience this, I did not have that with me. So, because everything promises to give me something, but I should know that they do not contain anything. It is nothing but a show. It is nothing but appearance. So the mithyatva, the apparent nature of the creation should also be known very well. Until then, my mind will not be able to apply itself thoroughly to that which is the truth. So, aparavidya, we will talk about this tomorrow also. The subject matter of the aparavidya is ignorance, this samsara, which is the result of ignorance, avidya. And that has to be set aside first. That has to be settled account with. And that is why here Bhashyakara says, while writing Bhashya upon this verse, he says, what is Paravidya? Paravidya is Paramatma Vidya. Vidya concerning the reality, Vidya of Ishvara, Vidya of Atma, all this is one. Vidya of this is called Para, the exalted, the superior one. And Apara is what? Apara hi Vidya Avidya. Apara Vidya is nothing but what? Avidya. Apara Vidya, the knowledge of the world is nothing, the subject matter of that is nothing but what? Ignorance. Product of ignorance. And what are we supposed to do with ignorance? Know it as ignorance. Keep it aside. We have to shed ignorance. So, avidya sa nirakartavya. Bhashyakara says it has to be given up. But can we give up anything like that? We cannot give up. Even if the Swamini mentioned while talking about sannyasa, the child is asked by the mother to keep aside all the marbles. examination is coming, you keep aside the marbles and study. But what did he do? He was made to sit, and then what is he doing? Even while studying, his hands are, and he's looking out. All his friends are playing with marbles. He is deprived. He is deprived of the marbles because for him that is important. He has not outgrown. So, unless you know that what I am seeking is not there, it promises right, but it is a fake promise. It is not going to yield anything. This has to be known very well. And it cannot be thrust upon anyone. One is to find out. And for that, examination is necessary. For that, you be there, see what it is, experience it, and then come to know. Come to know after, and then your mind will be able to focus. One thing is over. After knowing that this is made of plastic, my mind will not go there. Let it be. I need not close my eyes to this. Closing eyes doesn't work. Grapes are sour also doesn't work. Just because I cannot have it, then what will I say? They are sour. I don't want it. That doesn't work. My mind will remain there. I may withdraw my sense organs and everything. But inside I will continue to revel upon that. Inside I will continue to ponder. Why? Because the Vastu is not known. Because I still, that it can give me something. That it is the capacity, it has the capacity to give me something. That is not understood. So that has to be known very well. Unless you know that, Paravidya will not work. Just as Swamini said, there has to be Vairagya. Only then and then, Vairagya is very important. Vairagya means not just giving up. Vairagya is not an action. I go away. I close my eyes. Vairagya is not born of an action. It is not an action. What is it? It is understanding. It is understanding. It is knowledge. Vairagya is knowledge. It is not just folding yourself or closing your eyes and then thinking about it. Karmendriyani sanyamya yaste manasa smaran. Lord Krishna says that there are people, don't do this. Don't look at women. Don't look at this. Don't have this. So they will fold themselves. Karmendriyani sanyamya. You are withdrawn, keeping them in control. Ya aste manasa smaran. But you sit back thinking about them. Mind is not off. Ya aste manasa smaran. That is mithyachara. That is hypocrisy. Others may go, oh, what a great yogi. What a great sannyasi. What a great person, What a great sannyasi. What a great yogi. But he himself knows where he is. That doesn't work. Others may come to know or not. That is also not important. What is important is, where are you? Where is your attachment? So, the real thing will work when I settle the account. And for that also I need to be there. I need to experience it to some extent. Not for the whole life I keep on experiencing. Then the whole life is gone. They say, Swamiji used to say, that Swamiji says, that when you are cooking the rice, and then you try to find out whether it is cooked or not. Then you take one grain and press it, and you come to know, yes, it is cooked or some more time is required. You don't take the whole pot and check everything. One grain, for checking one grain is enough. Similarly, for some people, thinking, intelligent, subtle, one experience may be enough. For others, many more experiences. For others, still more. And for others, no matter. Any number of experiences also will not work. Why? Because they are not thinking. We have to analyze our experiences. What did I get? What did I lose? What are the pros? What is the other side? I'm gaining something, but at what cost? Did you count that or not? What is the net profit? See everything. I got this much, but how much did I expend? How much did I pay? How much of my time? How much of my energy? How much of my emotional investment? Intellectual investment? And at the end, what is the end result? The thing comes and goes away. Or sometimes I leave it. And sometimes I get bored. I spend so much time and the next day I am bored. Now my mind wants something else. What is the use of this? So now I try something else. Then another, then another, then another. But while you are going through that, while you are in the world, examine. Examine. Analyze each and every of your experiences. Analyze. What am I getting? At what cost? Do I want only this in life? There is nothing wrong in giving our time and our energy. But what is it for which I am doing this? Am I getting it or not? Where is the happiness? Is this object able to give me that lasting happiness or not? Temporarily it may give, but not forever. And so what am I doing? What am I doing? Where am I going? My time is passing by. My energies are depleting day by day. My time is going. And where is my goal? Have I reached closer to the destination or not? All this needs that we think. We examine everything. Nothing wrong with the world. World is not to be blamed. But if we are expecting something from the world which it does not contain, and then sitting and crying, this people did not give me this thing, everything is like that. Everybody is, no, that is not correct. What is your understanding? What is your perception of life? For that, you have to see the world. For that, have some experience. And that is why, even though Shaunaka had asked only for Paravidya, but teacher knows better. He wants to make sure that has he settled account with Apara or not? Has he settled account with that or not? So let me proceed in order. Krama ape, here Pashikara writes that Krama apekshatvat prativachanasya. The reply that a teacher gives expects what? Krama. There has to be an order. The person doesn't know any fundamentals and you start talking about PhD syllabus. He is not going to understand anything. There is a method in which the things have to be done. That is why even though Shaunaka asked about Paravidya, teacher starts with what? Aparavidya. Now he will give a whole list of what comes in Aparavidya. And you will find what even Vedas are included in Aparavidya. That we will see tomorrow. So he wants to completely set aside Apara so that the student is ready for the Paravidya. So in a masterly manner, the teacher is going to talk about what? Apara, and then he will say what Para and how is Paravidya to be gained. But here he said, first you must learn both. You must. Para as well as Apara. And which will come first? Akara. So we will do that tomorrow. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Namaha. Hari Om. Just please be seated. Indiraji wants to tell you something.